Our top quarterback scouting profiles hurtle on, and we get now to Trey Lance, a sophomore from South Dakota State. He is a toolsy prospect with some upside. We're going to bring you 10 plays that outline what we think really encapsulate his style of play. We're going to talk about his big arm and his accuracy, as well as his accuracy issues, kind of round out where we think he lands as a prospect overall, that the Niners are considering someone like this to maybe develop him and sit him for a year behind Jimmy Garoppolo. And we're going to start with something that Shanahan loves a lot, which is a play under center. It's a play with play action. It's a play with some pre-snap motion.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a play you might see Shanahan run on Sunday that Trey Lance executes beautifully.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that jumped out to us when we were first watching Lance and going through this tape is, there are a lot of snaps where he just he looks good and looks comfortable within structure and from within the pocket. I think this is one of those play action. Obviously, good amount of time like we've shown with Fields and Wilson. Obviously, a number of plays where they've kind of got all day to throw, and so this is certainly one of those for Lance, but. As you can see here, when we get to ball location from the end zone view, again, just setting up within the pocket, has time, looks calm, delivers a nice, accurate throw to an open receiver. And so this is, part of that just fundamental level of quarterbacking that you need to be able to do consistently at the NFL level to have success.
And if you look at his base, he's got a nice wide base. He doesn't look hurried in the pocket. He knows he's got time, and he's using it to great effect. He's got his eyes downfield, checks coverage, comes back, and then throws. This is exactly in rhythm, on time, in a good spot, on a crossing route. It's something you would expect him to execute well on Sundays. We get to the second play, and now we're going to get to a similar play action shot, but this time it's going to display his accuracy on a deep shot, and this is going to show off some of his arm strength as well.
Yeah, so we're going to get, as we get the video catching up here. So again, another under center play, another play action that we have here. And this time we're going to, kind of sell the crossing route from this receiver here. And he's going to break it upfield. And we get, I think that's kind of a common thing with basically all the quarterbacks we looked at so far, at least, with Wilson, Fields, and now Lance, having these kind of big shots on their tape. Where they can really kind of stretch the field vertically and connect on some of these big plays here. And so again, though, you see the play action, you see a nice little slide up, he gets this kind of deep pressure from kind of the looping defensive lineman there on the stunt, but just steps up, is unfazed, delivers a nice, accurate downfield throw to another open receiver. And again, we'll get a little bit better view of kind of the ball location and all of that from the end zone view here.
We didn't give you a trigger warning about this when it comes to deep post shots that are completed. I know that Niner fans would like to know what these look like, and so we thought we would bring one to you. This is what that deep middle shot looks like when it's completed. That's 50 yards pretty much exactly because he throws it from the 50. It gets to the receiver on basically the end zone. So that's 50 yards in the air.
A little behind the 50 even. Give him a
little, look at that.
We'll put a little 50 plus on that.
Little plus sign.
Yeah.
Now we get to some more of his pocket movement, and we're going to get to some of his processing as well. So we showed some of this with Fields, but this is a play where he's going to have a front side concept at the top of the screen, but he's not going to like what he sees, and he's going to come back to the backside, and it's a really good picture of a quarterback really moving through their progressions in the pocket and completing a really good pass.
Yeah, so we actually showed this is a pretty similar concept to a play that we showed from Fields. Setup's a little bit different, but you kind of end up with a similar picture. So, they've got this right side that he's going to be looking at first, and they've got basically a vertical route here from the outside receiver, and the tight end's going to be on a little short outbreaking route. And then you've got kind of a crossing route here, and then the dig behind it. And so basically he's going to work this in the order that I drew it up, right? So he's going to work basically this high-low over here first and kind of see if there's anything that he likes with that, any of the matchups. If not, he'll come back to this crosser as the next option. And then finally, this is the last route that's going to break here from a timing perspective is that backside dig. And so again, here you can see, and we'll get a better view from the end zone, but eyes to the right here once he gets to the top of the drop, looking over at that right side, doesn't like it, comes back. Here we look at the crosser, got tight coverage there, doesn't want to go there. And then finally we get all the way back to the dig and delivers a nice again, accurate throw from the pocket.
The end zone's a really good place to look at where the quarterback's eyes are. Always check the stripe of the helmet. You'll see the stripe look over here to the right. You'll see it come to the middle, and then you'll see it come to the left side on the dig.
Yep, and then here's the cross right
the
there,
yep.
And then here we get back, and you can follow, and it should be, and this is like what you'd like to see, right? In terms of kind of the good plays from the pocket and seeing the timing and everything go there is that those eyes should be timed up with the feet, right? So we get eyes to the right here as he's hitting the top of his drop. We get a kind of a shuffle forward here, and that brings his eyes to the next part, right, to the crosser. And then again, we get the feet moving again here to open up and make sure that he's getting lined up for that backside dig.
And that really is a good pass. I mean, look at it. It's right on the face mask. You know, I mean, the receiver's got leverage on the defender, but you know that's really putting it in a place where it makes it difficult for a defender to get some kind of a play on that ball. Yeah,
perfect ball location, really. I mean, this is where you want it. It's basically on this front side shoulder, right? Is he's going to hit that inside shoulder here. So with the defender trailing and kind of in that high position on top of it, it's going to be, again, difficult for him to be able to reach that.
Now, we've shown you a few plays where his pocket movement is really good, but his pocket movement wasn't always picture perfect. And in some cases, he moved into a place in the pocket that made a throw more difficult than it needed to be, even if it was ultimately completed. And on this play, we're going to show you how he moves in the pocket, but moves in a place where ultimately he runs himself basically right into a defender.
Yeah, it just makes it, kind of more difficult than it needs to be, right? And so this is kind of one of the things that we mentioned with him in terms of this in pocket, in rhythm type of stuff is it can look great like we saw in the first few plays there, but then the consistency just isn't always there. And so this is one where, again, I've got a nice clean pocket here. There's no reason for me to get antsy and be moving up too far, right? I can settle right in this range and I'm protected. I've got everything that I need there. Maybe because the defensive line, everybody's kind of shifting this way. Maybe I'm going to slide a little bit to my left here, but you can see he basically keeps shuffling up. And again, when you look at this tackle, right, and where he's protecting, he's expecting him to be here. Right, that's where he's protecting him from, and so as soon as he slides up inside of that, well, that opens up the leverage for this defensive end, right? That the tackle has no idea where the quarterback's moving to, but of course the defender can see that, right? So he can slide off there, and there's not a whole lot the tackle can do really, except for probably hold. You're going to get a lot of holding penalties this way, but we see it still kind of work out, right? And then there was a couple plays that we mentioned with Fields as well, right, where everything didn't look perfect leading up to it, but he still was able to get a positive result. And so this is kind of one of those cases here. He steps up too far, kind of ends up taking contact during the delivery, but still is able to kind of get the ball out accurately across the field, opposite hash throw right on the intermediate out route here on third down. So able to convert and kind of get a first down for his offense.
Yeah, I wonder if we can see what this looks like from the end zone view, because the opposite hash throw is one that is good, but it's just it's good to see the nose of the ball where it goes, and the fact that it doesn't dip a whole hell of a lot, which is, I mean, it's great at this distance. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think you can see too here, like this gives you a really good idea of how much space he still has over here, right? And how, like a lot of times, when he's your right-handed quarterback, you're looking to open up and make that throw to your left. You are going to have a tendency to drift that way a little bit, and how he kind of opens up here, because again, he's getting the snap on the hash, right? And so you're expecting if he was working the right side of the field or the middle of the field with his first look, he should stay right on this inside part of the hash, right, directly behind the center, because that's kind of the spot the offensive line is protecting for. But he gets here off too far, up too far, and that's what gives the defender there that angle. But yeah, you can see, again, still able to get a good amount of velocity on this throw, still able to put it in a solid ball location, and get the completion. Also, one thing I can't believe we forgot to mention on this play, how could we? I want to point out the most important thing here.
It's the Penguins.
It's the Penguins. I'm going to get it. We're going to get the whole... Bam. Here's a circle for you right there. Penguins.
And the circle's even connected. The circle's connected in this case, which doesn't always happen with Newman circles. But we haven't... I wonder if we have another play from this game, because we don't even show you the scarf penguin.
You get that midfield. It's a beautiful sight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. This next play is something very similar, but in this case, you're going to see him run into a blitzing defender. A play that still ends positively, but doesn't, but it still isn't always perfect as it goes.
Yeah, it's one where he's just making it. You don't want to make things more difficult for yourself, right? You want to be able to do things as efficiently as possible and give yourself the easiest, best chance for success. And so here again, we get a little bit too much movement up in the pocket. So you're getting this kind of delayed blitz or blitz from depth really here. The safety coming really late and kind of weaving his way into space over here. And so he steps up here, and this is all you need, right? Like at this point here, you're good. Like just stop here. You're going to be in position. He's going to end up throwing this route right here that's going to break inside. You can see that they've got space, right? It's man coverage. My one safety is here. He's running away from where I'm going to go, really looking to kind of bracket, it looks like, on the slot receiver. So I know that I'm going to have this space in the middle of the field to be able to make this. And so right here, you'd like to see him, okay, just kind of sit tight a little bit, don't make as much forward movement up in the pocket and deliver it. But instead, he moves up too far, and he gets kind of into that blitzer, and you see him have to like hop back essentially right at the last second. And we'll go to, again, the end zone view here. But he basically gets up too far and then has to try to like jump backwards as he's starting the throwing motion. And it's just, again, it works out in his favor this time, but kind of some unnecessary movement there that you would like to see him clean up.
And again, his arm bails him out. Like the fact that that he's got such a strong arm means that he can effectively jump backwards, be in the air, and still rifle this dig and make another good pass.
Yep. Yeah, the arm strength is very clearly there. You see why teams can fall in love with that ability to be able to make all of these kind of throws even when things aren't great.
But if you listen to the pod, you know that our biggest issue with Lance was his accuracy. And he displayed erratic accuracy all over his tape. And so the next 3 plays are going to be some plays that we think kind of encapsulate the ways in which he misses and the kind of head-scratching ways in which you're like, all right, if he's going to be able to be successful at the NFL level, he's going to have to fix this. And this play is just a short intermediate out route where he's in rhythm, doesn't have pressure, got a good wide base, just kind of one-hops it.
Yeah. And it's not really the way you want to miss on this. So, again, you've got, and again, this one you want to show because we've shown a similar type of throw to this with basically every quarterback, right? And this was definitely something that we brought up with Wilson and Fields and their ability to hit this throw consistently, right? Which is this intermediate outbreaker from the far hash. And here he's got the time, right? So we see him, he's in the pocket, he's comfortable. Again, we get that early open to the left side, so we make sure we get those hips opened up and those feet in the right place, and just kind of leaves it short. And you don't really get to see, even though we know the arm strength is there to be able to make this throw, it's the ball location that just doesn't always end up there. And so, yeah, you see it here, kind of leave it short, doesn't give the receiver any sort of chance to have a play on this ball and make any sort of catch. And it's an open throw, right? I mean, you see this space that the receiver has from the defender there, and it's not something where he even needs to be perfect on this throw, right? You're just trying to get it on his body somewhere because of the amount of space that he has, and he just, again, misses it, leaves it short.
And then we get to a next play where he completely sails a third down play. This time, rather than going to the outside, it's a route that runs to the inside of the field, but the outcome is unfortunately the same.
Yeah, so again, kind of similar and a similar-ish play, but he's going to really work. So he doesn't spend a lot of time, up here to the top. He's basically going to be looking once he sees that he's got some man coverage here. So they're bringing blitz, right? So they're going to end up in a zero blitz. You're going to have these linebackers coming, and basically you're manned up here. The safety's going to be on the back, manned up everywhere, right? So I know that I've got single coverage across the board here, and I'm going to work kind of what I feel like is a good matchup, which is going to be this crossing route here, right? This is a difficult route to defend in man coverage, and the receiver does a great job, right? He breaks, this defender is sitting hard inside leverage here. He's able to break that, get good positioning, get some separation. He's got the sticks, but as we'll see more cleanly from the end zone view here, this just isn't close. And it's not a case where, the pressure's not to him yet. He has time to be able to sit here in the pocket and be unbothered, and just needs to deliver. And this is more the type of separation, right, that you can hope to get at the NFL level. Like, this safety, don't get me wrong, is bad, and you would hope to see better play from an NFL player here. But like a step of separation here on third down, man coverage, like that's as good as you're going to get a lot of times. And so this is a pass, again, that needs to be on the money. He needs to be able to hit this consistently, and just kind of sails it and doesn't give the guy a chance.
Yeah, and I think that the thing that worries us, and we mentioned this on the pod too, is that in both those instances, he's not got a lot of people around his feet. He's not out of rhythm. He's able to navigate things in the pocket. His mechanics look okay, and he just misses it. It's erratic. Yep. And this next play is one where he is just going to do something similar, where this time though he's going to kind of throw behind the receiver. And he didn't have any turnover-worthy. He didn't have too many turnover-worthy plays, and only had, I think, one interception. But this one was a play that really should have been an interception because he threw it behind the receiver.
Yeah, so this one's even a shorter throw. So it's, again, opposite hash, but more just kind of a quick out. We're at 3rd and 4 situation here. So, he's just going to basically break here from the slot right at the sticks. And you're going to get tighter coverage this time from the defender. And yeah, here you see it hit this defender right in the chest, missing in the one place that you absolutely cannot miss on this type of throw, right? If we get, from the end zone view here, again, get a better idea of the ball location. But this is a throw that always you have to be looking to put this up and away, right? It needs to be here. This is the spot that you miss, so that if it's overthrown, whatever, we live to see another day, right? And we aren't giving this given a turnover, or potentially, this is really a chance at points for the defense, because there's nobody here, right? There's no offensive players over there. It's basically going to be up to Lance to try to chase this down and prevent it from being a pick six. And so the defender, though, being an FCS defender from whatever shitty school this is, doesn't.
That's UC Davis.
UC Davis. There you go. Doesn't capitalize, but. And this was a kind of a consistent spot that he missed. He missed behind. I think that the two areas that he tended to miss were behind like this, and then overthrows like we saw on the previous play, right, where he's just putting kind of too much on it, sailing it on the guy. So this was certainly a concerning type of thing, and we didn't have a lot of turnover worthy plays, right? This was something we mentioned on the pod. Because he has, again, a lot of open receivers and stuff like that. So his misses were a lot of times missing into space, more like we saw on the very first throw, right, where he kind of leaves that throw short. The defender's just so far off there that a miss there isn't really going to do anything. And that was a lot of the reason why I think he didn't end up having more turnover-worthy plays than he did.
One quick correction. My statistician, my producer's in my ear. She's telling me that it was actually 0 picks that he had on the year, because all this tape is from 2019.
Yep.
And he only had, I want
to say 4.
Four turnover-worthy plays, no picks. But he also had a very, very low-volume passing offense. He only threw on average 18 times a game. Something else to consider when evaluating his play. But this is not where, where we wanted to end the Lance film, because he's also got some good things that he can do with his legs. He is a really, really twitchy athlete, especially when he decides to run. And on this play, he exhausts all of his options. He does what Steve Young says you should do, which is not run first, but run last. And he's able to pick up some yards with his legs.
Yeah, which is always great, right? I think the thing that is always a little concerning is guys that want to take off too soon. And again, we can kind of see... and let's go back to this first. We can kind of work through, where he's looking at. But yeah, you want them to be a passer first, right? That's going to be the most efficient, most consistent way for you to pick up yards for your offense. And so you want to exhaust those options first. So here we kind of see him opening up, looking at this left-hand side, but he doesn't have anything, right? So, you get a nice little late jam here on the outside receiver that pushes him wide into the sideline. You've got in the slot safety in good position, kind of mugging him a little bit, but then you also have this underneath defender here, so not a whole lot to go to there. And then similar story, right, as he works then to the backside. So he gets over to the right-hand side here. This guy's covered up. he's got, maybe a tiny bit of space here, but that's a long ass throw across that field, and the corner's going to have some time to catch up there. So totally fine not wanting to kind of take that chance. And then at that point, once he's kind of gone through all his receivers, doesn't have anything that's there, he's starting to get pressure, and like, okay, now's the time to use that athleticism and make something happen with your legs. Get out, you get 12 yards on 1st and 10, and pick up that first down.
Yeah, and he, as a runner, I feel like he's fast, but he's also a little bit more twitchy than Fields, kind of in the short area. Even though I think Fields is probably bigger than he is, he's not a small guy. And he's able to kind of shift and move in the pocket, I think, a little bit more, even though both him and Fields are very, very good when it comes to kind of putting your foot in the ground and rolling over some guys. Yeah. And this last play is similarly him on the move, but it's the one place where his accuracy really put him in line with the other top quarterback prospects, and that's going to be on the move.
Yeah, and so again, before we get to the actual final throw, though, you see him before he gets on the move. He's not leaving too early, which I think is a good sign, right? So he's going to, again, be looking at the left side of the field here. So he's going to be kind of working those 3 receivers off to that side. He's got kind of this wheel that he's really probably trying to look to hit, but everything's covered up, right? So this safety, maybe you've got a little bit of space here, but the safety's still on top of this seam route here. The corner staying on top of the wheel. Don't like that. You've got plenty of underneath defenders here to take care of the dump off out to the back. So I don't really have anything off to that first look side. And then at that point, I start to get pressured, right? So I've got my back in protection that is a little overmatched against the defensive end. And so he's getting walked back, and okay, now it's time to get out of there and look to make something happen. The receiver does a great job finding space here, in the end zone. And again, you see him on the move, a pretty good amount in the air for an on the move throw. I mean, we're talking, he's at the 27 when he lets this go. This is nearly back of the end zone here. So, it's a 30 plus yard in the air throw on the move, delivered in a good ball location, putting it right on him.
Overall, Lance is a toolsy prospect with accuracy issues, but still some things on tape like this throw on the move that make you think to yourself, yeah, you can mold this clay. You can do something with this player because he's got the tools to succeed, and he's got, some good mechanics by and large, and his processing generally seems to be pretty good. It's just a little bit of that erratic nature that I think puts him a little below the other quarterbacks that we've evaluated so far this offseason. So that does our scouting report for Trey Lance. Thanks again for tuning in, and as always, go Niners. All right, let's sync video in 3, 2, 1.
That was a C. That's C for circle. That's what I decided to do instead.
That doesn't even get the C grade.
Look,
that was terrible.
I'm not gonna lie, my finger slipped a little bit off the mouse. Okay, It's a little.
All I hear are excuses.
A little warm in this room. Hands are, a little sweaty.
Excuses.
I guess. Probably need to rub down this mouse with a little alcohol wipe. It's been.
Whoa, easy, buddy, easy. This isn't OnlyFans. This is Patreon.